Digital cloning is coming. In some cases, it's already here. Are we at the point where you can simply lounge about on the beach all day long and your clone is making dozens, hundreds of great videos looking like you, sounding like you, spreading your name, your ideas on all social media all the time? Well, I don't know about that. What I'm more interested in, frankly, is how to use a digital clone to improve actual production of what you're still doing yourself. I'm going to try to do that right now and learn together. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my clone for suggestions. So I'm going to bring my clone up right here. This is the TJ Walker AI clone, which has everything I've ever said about communication skills, most of the things I've said on personal development skills. It has been added into a database, and my digital clone is able to pull upon that. Oh, I got to share the screen 1 second. Let me add this to it. So we're going to do some testing here today. I don't have all the solutions for digital clones and all the different ways that especially video clones are going to be used. I'm hoping to have my own clone in a video format very, very soon. More about that in the coming weeks. But until then, it's gotten to the point where the audio, I think, is pretty good. Now, I've now been listening to my clone, adjusting the volume, adjusting the tone, trying to tweak the voice for several weeks. To my ear, it sounds like me about 97% of the time. I've heard other people say as high as 95, some say 80%. You can be the judge of that. But what I'm trying to do is figure out ways of being better at what I do, using the AI not to replace me, but how to help more people and how to help me help more people. So right now I'm going to ask the AI for tips on titles, topics, and talking points for short form communication skills videos. Now, lest you think I'm somehow cheating and plagiarizing, my clone has not been fed data from the entire internet. It's not going to somehow start giving tips it found in a Dale Carnegie book. It has been, to my knowledge, and I'm not the technologist, it has only been fed data from my books, some of which you can see in the background, my online courses, my YouTube channels, my podcast appearances. So it's not stealing other people's content. At least I haven't caught it doing that yet. And I'm hoping it can take my ideas, spin it around, analyze it, or again, I don't want to anthropomorphize, manipulate the data in a way that comes up with something that makes me think about how to do a better job. So let's just bring on the clone and ask it for advice. Sometimes it takes a few seconds. It usually answers in about 5 seconds. So we'll see.
Hi, I'm TJ's clone. How may I help you?
Hi, TJ Clone. I would like to make some short form social media videos on communication skills. I would like to do something that is interesting and relevant to business people, authors, experts, coaches, executives, founders who have to communicate a lot. It doesn't necessarily have to be giving a speech. It could be talking one-on-one with a client or investor. But I'd like you to give me what you think is a good topic for a short form video, and then give me an example of what I could say in it in ideally less than 25 seconds. I want to hear a draft from you, and then I can decide whether I want to do that for myself.
A great topic for a short form video could be the power of the pause in communication. This is highly relevant for business people, authors,
Okay,
experts, coaches,
TJ, let me stop
executives,
you
and
right there a
founders.
minute. Let me stop you right there. So that is a great topic, the power of the pause. But I just did that last week on my YouTube and social media channels. It did, and it was the most popular video of the week. I believe it got many, many thousands. If you can sift through the database, because I do know that all of my YouTube videos are input into your database. If you can find something that's maybe similar to videos I've done recently, but it's a different topic, but still a part of communication skills. Can you give me a different one?
Absolutely. Let's dive into another powerful topic, the art of active listening. This is crucial for business people, authors, experts, coaches, executives, and founders alike. Here's a draft for your short form video. Active listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about understanding the message behind them. When you truly listen, you build trust and foster deeper connections. Remember, the best communicators are often the best listeners. What do you think about focusing on active listening? And how about you try recording a short video on this topic and share what you like about how you communicated it?
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, I have talked about that before, but you gave a slightly different spin. And I say you gave it, you're pulling things from stuff I've said. So I've said these things in part in one of my courses on listening, but I kind of forgot it. And that's one of the interesting things about using your own clone, not just to help clients, customers, prospects, students, but to help yourself. I haven't heard that talked about much, and maybe I'm unique in using this, but I do find it useful. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try to record a short form video on just this topic, but I'm going to keep you on, TJ Clone. I'm going to move you off the screen, but I want you to listen to me. I'm going to do a draft. I'm going to record it. I'm going to go into 4K mode. I'm going to record it, do it, and then I want you to tell me what I'm going to go to camera 2 for this too. And then I'm going to want your critique. Don't talk until I finished it. I'll ask you for the critique. Fair enough? Okay. So I'm going to position myself this way, and I'm going to hit record. If you want to be a great
Got it.
communicator,
I'll be here ready to listen.
Okay, hang on. I'll get to you in just a minute. I had to pause for the edit, so we'll start over. If you want to be a great communicator, you have to learn how to be a great listener, and that means being an active listener. And that means not just technically listening to every word, but looking at the meaning behind it. What is the true concern of the person you're speaking to? So then you can follow up not just with your next question, but follow up with something that shows you're truly trying to understand not just what they said, but the meaning behind it. Okay, that's the end of that. I'm going to hit
Great
stop
job. You nailed
record.
the essence.
So now I want your critique, TJ. How do you think that will work as a short form video that will have nice editing and graphics and music? But we want something that works well for my audience, which typically means less than 20 seconds. And I didn't time that. But give me your critique of the message and whether you think that will work.
Your message is strong and clear, but it could be tightened up a bit to fit within that 20-second sweet spot. Here's a more concise version. To be a great communicator, you must be an active listener. Don't just hear words, understand the meaning behind them. Show you're truly trying to understand, not just respond. This version keeps the essence of your message while ensuring it stays brief and impactful. Now, I suggest you record this revised version and see how it feels. What do you like about
It's
how
a
you
good
communicate?
suggestion. I think I'm going to stick with the one I have, but I do appreciate the the analysis. By the way, do you have the capability of telling me how long my presentation was? I know you can't analyze how I sounded, voice tone, or volume, but can you tell me, based on your own database, how many seconds long was that short form video presentation I just gave?
Your presentation was approximately 23 seconds long. It's a solid length for a short form video, but always aim to keep it under 20 seconds for maximum impact. Now let's focus on refining your delivery.
Okay.
What do you like about how you communicated in this video? And how about you practice another
So
short form
I
video on
I
a different
did
aspect
think
of
that I hit
communication,
the
like
essence
handling
of
it?
it, but it was a little bit tricky in that I do feel like I've talked about this a fair amount recently. So I was really struggling with how do I say something new and fresh. So that was a little bit of my challenge there that I was trying to grapple with. And Mansoor says hello, says good morning, 200 star. Mansoor, thanks so much for stopping by. One of our friends on Facebook. Mansoor, if you have a question that you'd like me to address, or if you want to suggest a topic for a short form video, I would love to hear from you because I'm in a production mode here. Part of what we do here at the TJ Walker Success Channel is we take you behind the scenes. We show you what really goes on in video production of a YouTube, a content creator, how we make videos here. We take you behind these curtains here, metaphorically. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm getting a little help. I think it's ethical help because it's only pulling from stuff I've said, my own ideas. I'm not stealing the internet and passing things off as my own ideas from Wikipedia or something like that. But that's what we're doing right now. I'm using my special friend here, which is the TJ Walker clone. If you're not familiar with that, Ben, if we could go ahead and post the clone URL, and if you ever want to get it, it's just delphi.ai/TJ Walker. Wakwana says, hi, how to communicate with someone who never stops talking. Okay. That's a great topic. Let me see if I can go ahead and do a short form video on that topic. Note to my clone, I'm going to pause for about 3 seconds before I start this. And I don't want you to start talking. I want you to wait until I've finished, clone, and then I'm going to want you to give me a critique, the TJ clone. So Wakwana, thank you very much for suggesting that topic. And let me focus my thoughts for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and hit record on the master so we get the 4K version and see what I can do. What do you do if you're speaking to someone and they just won't stop talking? Sometimes you just have to be polite and let them finish. What seems forever from your side may seem like them just getting things off their chest that are essential. But sometimes it can be too much. Sometimes you have to say, sorry, I want to make sure I understand this, and then ask a question that you want to say. Make it seem like you're trying to help the conversation, not shut them off, and it won't be insulting. Okay, so that
Your
was
delivery
my
was clear and engaging,
rough
but
draft.
let's tighten it up for
Let's hear the commentary from the TJ Walker clone. So that one, if I had to rate that myself, I don't think it's a bad draft of something. I think the information is perfectly good. I don't know that I really delivered something that was transformational where people are thinking, wow, I never heard that before. I really got to try that. Now, I don't hit that on every single short form, but Wakwana, I want your opinion on that. Mansoor has posted other topics, but let's get feedback first from my digital clone. TJ Clone, please give an analysis of that short form video I just produced.
Your delivery was clear and engaging, but let's tighten it up for maximum impact. Here's a more concise version. When someone won't stop talking, be polite and let them finish. If it gets too much, say, I want to make sure I understand, and ask a clarifying question. This shows you're engaged without being rude. This version keeps the essence of your message while ensuring it stays brief and impactful. Now, let's focus on refining your delivery.
Okay.
What do you
TJ,
like
thanks
about
a
how
lot.
you
If you could hold
communicated
your,
in
if
this
you could
video?
hold
And
your
how about
comments, TJ Clone, if you could hold your comments. Let's switch over to what some of our viewers and our community members are asking about. Mansoor says, how about a short video about angry customers in service points? I'm not quite sure what you mean by service points. Do you mean like if you're at a store and that's where you're servicing them? I'm not 100% of what you mean. And do you mean you're at a restaurant, let's say a fast food restaurant, and you're working there, and a customer is just yelling about you because they didn't get a pickle on their hamburger? Are you asking about what's the best way to deal with that? I'm not quite sure. If you want to elaborate, I can go ahead and do a rough draft. I'm going to ask my clone. Well, let's just ask the clone for its version of a rough draft. So, clone, if you had to do a video, a short form video, and make it less than 20 seconds or less, and you wanted to give people advice on how to react and how to talk to an angry customer who is, and Mansour's adding clarification, customer service points in telecommunication. How to open, I still don't really know what you mean, Mansour. Do you mean I am an operator and or someone's calling saying my phone bill is too high? If you could give a more specific example. But I want to ask first for feedback and a demonstration from the TJ Walker clone, and I'll bring it back up here so people know what I'm talking about. I want you, clone, to give me a short form video speech on how to deal with an angry customer. Let's say in this case it's face to face and they are yelling at you, and you work for the company, you work for the business where the customer is and yelling. What's the best way to handle that tense situation?
When dealing with an angry customer face to face, the key is to stay calm and composed. First, listen actively to their concerns without interrupting. Show empathy by acknowledging their frustration. Then calmly summarize their issue to ensure you understand it correctly. Finally, offer a solution or next steps to resolve the problem. This approach shows respect and can help de-escalate the situation. Now, what do you like about how you communicated in your last video?
Okay, so
How
that's
about
not
you practice
TJ.
another
That's
short
not a
form
bad
video
idea.
on
I
handling?
mean, that is stuff I have said before, but that's a slightly different take. And again, we should point out the TJ Walker clone here is pulling information that it's been fed from my YouTube videos, online courses, and books, but it's able to process information and it has a perfect memory, whereas I do not. So we're getting feedback and tips from that. So I'm going to go ahead and do a draft on this. And Mansour says it's face to face with customers. So that is the starting point. So let me try to talk about this, and I'm going to take the clone off the screen. But clone, I am going to ask you to critique mine in just a moment. And I am going to pause for a couple of seconds before I start. Please do not interrupt. Let me pause. That makes it easier for the editing. And I'm going to do it. Then I'm going to pause again. Then I will ask you for your feedback. So please hold your commentary till then. And Mansour, since this is your question, I'm going to ask for your feedback as well. So what do you do if
When dealing
in
with
your
an angry
business,
customer face to face,
hang on, TJ, I need you to stop for just a minute. Again, I'm going to pause for a couple seconds. I need you to not say anything until I ask for your opinion. What do you do if an angry customer comes in and they start yelling at you and it's uncomfortable and they're spewing nonsense? Well, don't start correcting them. Don't debate them. Don't escalate things. Instead, remain calm. Listen. Then summarize their concerns to them so they know they were heard. Then and only then, try to focus on a solution. Okay, that was my take. I added a couple of little things. I want Mansour's opinion of that for a YouTube, TikTok, social media short form video. And now I want the analysis from our friend, and I guess I should call him a co-host now. This is the TJ Walker clone. So TJ Walker clone, give me your analysis of that rough draft, that raw draft, raw footage of what may later become a short form video. Tell me what you thought of that.
your delivery was strong and clear, and you did a great job of emphasizing the importance of staying calm and listening. However, Let's tighten it up a bit for maximum impact. Here's a more concise version. When an angry customer starts yelling, stay calm, listen without interrupting, summarize their concerns to show you understand. Then focus on finding a solution. This keeps your message brief and powerful, perfect for short form content. Now, what do you like about how you communicated in this video? How
Okay,
about you practice another
time
short
out a
form
second,
video on
TJ.
handling
I
difficult questions?
thought that was okay feedback that my clone gave. I'm not sure I felt strongly enough that its suggestions would strengthen it that much, but it does open my eyes to the possibility of not only me using the clone, but ideally you and others using my clone or somebody's clone to really be with you as you work through drafts. Because what happens so often is people do drafts, written drafts of speeches, talks, talking points, messages to the media, and everything stays in the written format. And maybe they send it around to colleagues and clients and other people like that. But then you're saying it for the first time in real life, and it's too late to change anything. So I do see some real potential value in being able to practice something out loud, getting feedback, hearing another version of it, and then sort of doing iterations. It also brings up a question that I want to ask my clone, and that is it possible for me to ask you to listen in on a Zoom call that I do where I'm giving a new business presentation and I'm having a conversation with it for an hour with a prospect, and sometimes there are silences for 5 seconds. Is it possible for you to stay in the background, listen to the whole thing? Then when I hang up the Zoom call, I then get a detailed analysis from you telling me what you thought I did well when I was communicating on the Zoom call and where I could improve. Is it possible for you to do that? Or does that break some time limit where you can only be on for 30 minutes or something like that? Can you elaborate?
I understand the potential value you're seeing in using the clone for real time feedback during live presentations. However, the current capabilities of the clone are designed for more immediate interactive coaching sessions rather than passive extended listening. The focus is on providing actionable advice and feedback in a dynamic back and forth manner. For your specific need, I recommend recording your Zoom calls and then having the clone analyze the recording afterward. This way, you can still get detailed feedback on your performance, including what you did well and areas for improvement without the constraints of real-time monitoring. Now let's pivot back to
Hang on, no,
enhancing your
let's follow up
communication
there.
skills.
And because
What is your
I'm
ultimate
still
goal?
trying to learn how this whole cloning thing works. So if I did record my Zoom call, can I simply give you the URL and you input it and give me instant analysis in text or audio format? Or would I have to hit play and have you hear the Zoom call all over again? Because it would obviously be a lot faster for me to just input the URL. Are you able to give me analysis from a URL, or does it have to be the entire text either input into your system, or do I have to push the phone button and have the audio come to you directly? How does that work?
You can't simply input a URL for instant analysis. You'd need to play the audio for me to hear directly. This way, I can provide real-time feedback and analysis based on what I hear. Recording your Zoom call and playing it back for me is the best approach. This ensures I can give you detailed, actionable advice on your communication skills. Now let's focus on refining your delivery. What do
Hang
you
on a
like about
moment.
how you
I want to go a
communicated in your
little bit
last video? How
deeper.
about
I want to go a little bit deeper, TJ. By those of you just joining us, hi, I'm TJ Walker. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. We're all about helping you become more successful by boosting your communication skills and improving your confidence in your communication skills. We help you speak in a low-tech way where it's a one-on-one at a business networking event, but also using technology, whether it's PowerPoint, whether it's microphones, and the technology that's getting the most attention these days, artificial intelligence, and specifically AI digital clones, which I happen to think potentially could be the most revolutionary thing to ever happen to communications. Bigger than the internet itself, bigger than Gutenberg. And I may be overhyping it, I may be drinking the Kool-Aid, but that's kind of where I'm thinking right now with where this thing can go. Because again, the ultimate potential with a digital clone is anyone in the world can now have what feels like, seems like, has the same impact of a one-on-one communication conversation in a way that's completely interactive, completely engaging, not in any way passive, not traditional one-to-many, not a push channel like YouTube or a traditional recorded video. And people can access it anytime, day or night, anywhere, any continent, in any language. So that's why it is potentially so groundbreaking. And together we're trying to figure out how this whole thing works. Question for the TJ Walker AI clone. What is the longest I can ask you to just listen to my conversation with someone else, even when there are pauses, and then ask for your critique? Is there a certain time limit? I understand you already told me, you don't need to repeat. I understand you're designed for sort of short interaction. So I understand that's the best way, that's the main intended purpose. But I want to know, if I have Mansoor come on with me right now and we have a conversation for 25 minutes, can you keep quiet in the background? And then only when I ask you, only if I say a command like, I now want my TJ Walker clone to speak and give me an analysis, are you able to pick up on that and then give me an analysis of my entire conversation with Mansoor?
The longest I can stay in the background and listen to your conversation is about 30 minutes. After that, I can provide a detailed analysis of your communication, focusing on what you did well and areas for improvement. This way, you can get the most out of our interaction and refine your skills effectively. Now, what aspect of your
Okay,
communication
that's
would
good
you
to
like
know.
to
We're going to
focus
come
on
back to
next?
that, but that is helpful to know. Let's get to the next question. Joaquina says, how do you open up a conversation with someone you just met for the first time? Okay, that's an important topic in communication. It's one I've dealt with, but I have not dealt with that nearly as much as things like giving presentations. And this is actually much more relevant. So I'm glad you brought it up. Let me ask you advice. So to TJ, the clone, how would you make a social media short form video, 20 seconds or less, to answer Walk's question? How do you open up a conversation with someone you just met for the first time? How can you can you do it in a way where there's an actionable tip that most people would feel like they've not heard before, to get them to think, you know what, that was one good idea. I should try that. Maybe I should forward that to a friend of mine who's always saying they feel awkward or uncomfortable at business networking events. So, TJ, that's my challenge to you. Give me a script and speak it out loud. Make it interesting, compelling, and memorable. And tell me something that most people don't already know about the best way to start a conversation with somebody you just met for the first time.
To open a conversation with someone you just met, try this. Start with a genuine compliment about something specific. For example, I love your choice of tie. It really stands out. This breaks the ice and shows you're observant and interested. Then follow up with an open-ended question like, what inspired you to choose it? This invites them to share more and keeps the conversation flowing naturally. Give it a try and see how it transforms your interactions. Now, what do you like about how you
So
communicated in
let's
your
talk
last
about
video?
this
How
example
about
a
you
minute.
practice another
So
short
time
form
out,
video
TJ.
on handling?
Time out. And we're working on the mechanism to have it stop when it hears someone else talking. So that is advice I've heard before. And I think I gave it maybe 20 years ago. There is a problem in our modern culture There is a danger that commenting on something someone is wearing can be misconstrued. And even some people may say I'm being overly dramatic. It is a possibility it could be construed as overly personal, borderlining on harassment. You may think that commenting on someone's shoes or their purse or their tie or dress is being friendly and nice, and someone else might be creeped out about it. They might think you're being overly personal and perhaps saying something that isn't appropriate in a business setting if it's a business networking event. So I want you to give me another example on this very same topic. Let's tighten the scenario. You're in a business event, a business networking event. You've just met someone, or someone's standing next to you, let's say at the buffet. They're not talking to anyone. You're not talking to anyone. Everyone is dressed in business attire. You don't want anyone to think you're inappropriately checking them out, anything they're wearing. So given that, now give me a great 20-second script message for a social media video on how to deal with this situation.
When you're at a business networking event and want to start a conversation, focus on the context. Try this. Hi, I'm TJ. What brings you to this event? This is neutral, professional, and opens the door for them to share their interests or goals. It shows genuine interest without any risk of being misconstrued. Give it a try and see how it transforms your networking experience. What do you like about how you communicated in your last video? How about you practice another
So
short
let's
form
let's
video
talk about
on
what you
handling
just gave me.
difficult
I think
conversations?
that was perfectly fine advice. I don't know that it was groundbreaking or destined to go viral, but I think that's good, solid advice. And a part of what I'm trying to do on my own social media platforms is, of course, I love to go viral and have big hits, but I also want to be a place that just is a large repository of great information, solid information, tips, tricks, tools on how to communicate in every situation. So I'm going to do one that basically covers that topic. And I don't have to give you credit because you are me. And again, for people just tuning in, I'm referencing and I'm using as a resource the TJ Walker digital clone, the AI clone, which is assembling and repackaging information only based on what I've fed it, which is my own ideas from my speeches, videos, books, and things like that. So I'm going to hit record. Don't talk. I've got to pause from talking to my clone here. I'm going to pause for 2 seconds. Don't interrupt, or I'll have to start over. Then I'll want your critique. And I've got it. Okay. What's the best way to
Got
start a
it. I'll
conversation?
be here. Ready.
I need you to be quiet, TJ Clown. Okay. What's the best way to start a conversation with someone you've never met, but it's a business meeting? The key is, I don't want to say business meeting. I want to say business event. So I'm going to start that over, pausing for a second. What's the best way to start a conversation when you're at a business networking event? Well, you don't want to be overly personal these days. I would avoid commenting on what someone's wearing. They might take offense. Instead, just be friendly. I would say, hi, I'm TJ. What brings you to the event here today? It's open-ended. It's specific to the context. No one can be offended, and it starts the conversation. Okay, so I'm going to hit stop on the master record. Now,
your delivery was
okay,
clear and
go ahead and give me the analysis, TJ.
Your delivery was strong and clear. You did a great job emphasizing the importance of staying neutral and professional in a business setting. However, let's tighten it up a bit for maximum impact. Here's a more concise version. At a business networking event, start with context. Say, hi, I'm TJ. What brings you to this event? It's neutral, professional, and opens the door for them to share their interests or goals. This keeps your message brief and powerful, perfect for short form content. Now, what do you like about how you communicated in your last video? How about you practice
so I
another
heard the critique,
short form
and
video on
I
handling
don't want to seem
difficult
like I feel like I'm perfect, but I didn't hear enough in the critique from my clone to make me want to delete the last one and redo it. And I think at some point I will, but it wasn't bad advice. I just don't know that it really made it that much stronger. I didn't really love the wording it used initially of, be context specific. There's just something about that that sounded a little bit jargony. By the way, how long was my speech there, TJ Clone? Can you give me a feedback on my timing for just that section that I did?
Your speech was approximately 22 seconds long. It's a solid length for short form content. I understand your concern about the wording. It's crucial to keep the language simple and direct to avoid any jargon that might alienate your audience. What do you like about how you communicated in your last video?
Okay, so I'm going to sign
How
off
about you
with the
practice
TJ
another
Clone,
short?
but this is a learning experience. I do feel like I'm learning a lot, and I realize this is not Mr. Beast video. We're not expecting 500 billion people watching this. This is all new. We're in uncharted territory. I feel like I'm an explorer in deep outer space because we are in uncharted territories with this rise of digital clones and what I think is about to happen very, very quickly at the consumer level. People, and especially small businesses and large businesses, are going to be able to have digital clones where it's answering people, helping people, coaching them, advising them, not just in text, not just in audio, but in video where it looks like the real person. That's coming, and it's coming soon. And I want to get ahead of the game. That's why I'm here. I appreciate you spending time with me here to help me figure this out as well. And Walk, I hope that opened that helped your question. If you felt like that was valuable at all, I do appreciate the questions you sent. So thank you so much. And thanks for joining me. Please make a note. There are more videos coming today, more edited videos, short form and long form videos. They're a little more polished than this. You're seeing stuff that we did right here, sometimes a week ago, sometimes a month ago. So you get to see the finished product on these channels, the TJ Walker Success Channel, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn. But you're also getting to see it made right here. And I do that, I hope, to inspire you to speak out, to promote your own business, your own cause, your own issues. That's what we're all about here. Thanks so much. I'll see you here live tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern.